Welcome to your 4x4. This series I'm taking you into the red centre of Australia. And I've brought some friends. We can't wait to see what Danny has planned for us.
Thanks, Simon. You'll hit the outback, visit Indigenous sites, cool off at the Waterhole, and you'll cross water, climb rocks, and see stunning sunsets. But sometimes not everything goes according to plan.
His car's about 3 and a bit ton, caravan's a couple of ton, there's 5 ton, and it's bogged to the axles.
Go, Dave, go!
Extension.
Clear, winching! Now this is forward driving in the outback.
Woohoo! Yes! I've just had such a great time. It's been such a blast.
Wow. This has been an amazing adventure.
I've never seen anything like that before.
I love coming to these places because you always see something different.
G'day, my name's Vaughan Hindley. We're here on our first Your 4x4 trip with Simon and the team. We bought all the MDC hybrids and really looking forward to getting into this adventure.
When I got the invite to come along with the crew on this trip, I was absolutely stoked. Seen the show plenty of times, loved it, so I thought, yeah, this is going to be great. I'm really going to enjoy this.
Last time I was in Alice Springs was about 15 years ago, and I tell you one thing, it's definitely not as green as it is now.
Hi, I'm David from Clearview, and I have brought part of my family along. I've got Michelle here, my wife on my left, and on my right I've got my youngest daughter, Sienna, to experience the whole trip with me.
Hey, it's Anya from MDC. Super excited to be on my first Your 4x4 trip with Simon Christie.
So we met up at the Alice Springs sign and met the rest of the crew. It was my first time, so it was great to meet them all and shake their hands, and we had a good group session before we headed into town.
We'll have a go at this, family. We're off on another adventure to the middle of Australia. Can you believe it?
Oh, that's amazing.
The red centre. Oh, this is going to be absolutely epic.
It is going to be awesome.
We are in the centre of Australia and all set for a big 8 days exploring to the east of Alice Springs. And we are hitting the tracks. So let's get on the road for another big adventure with your 4x4. Can't believe how green it is up through here.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Probably we'll only see it maybe once in its glory like this. Never seen it so green, never seen it so lush.
The last time we came through here was 4 years ago, and it was pretty close to summer, and everything was just barren. And to see all the grass that's cruising around on the side of these hills just blows our mind, actually.
Vaughan, how good is it? We're 5 minutes out of town and look at this beautiful escarpment. We're on sandy tracks. This is magic.
Yeah, mate, this is awesome. Really amazing to see that, like you said, just out of town, and we're into it.
Our guide was Paul from ARB. He took us straight out of town, and the next minute we know we're in this spectacular four-wheel drive track that you wouldn't even know existed.
So the start of the track isn't too difficult, but we're just travelling along, and then I look out the right-hand window and there's just this amazing cliff face.
The view would go for miles and miles. You don't expect to see that sort of landscape here in the central Australia. I don't know, I don't really have words for it. Something that you would have to come and experience for yourself.
One of the best moments for me was we came up this four-wheel drive track, little craily, rocky, nothing hard or anything difficult. But I'll tell you one thing, they did open up a widescreen TV when you got to the top. We were looking out at absolute bliss, out into the gorge, flat land before it, and then these towering red cliffs.
A few big orb spiders around, Paul.
Oh. Yeah, those things frighten the life out of me everywhere I look.
They're not poisonous, they're not dangerous.
It's got 8 legs, it should die.
What do you think, Anya? How are you with spiders?
If I see a spider, I don't kill it, whereas my little boy will stomp it straight into the ground.
That's pretty full on for TV, geez.
The track was a little bit undulating, so we had a few flats just on the river on the way in. It got a little bit sketchy in a couple of washouts. It was interesting to see how everything towed up there.
Bit of a climb coming up, Paul.
Yeah, there's a nice little hill up there with a lookout on it. Get a good sunset view back over the town of Alice.
Bit early for sunset, but I reckon it's going to be a damn good view.
Yeah, put a couple of cars up there and see how they go.
Ruben, I found a hill climb for you. I don't know if Vaughan's going to let you take the caravan up there. Oh my lord.
Simon, you find me the hill, mate, and I'm going to go straight up it.
Put it on top of that hill, Ruben. Go do it, mate.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm really nervous.
You'll be fine.
On today's episode of Silly Sausages,
I went for a bit of a look and you couldn't turn around up the top, but I still wanted to have a crack.
Holy hell.
You ascended.
Ascended, that's what they say these days, the kids.
That'll do it, buddy. That is a bloody awesome. Holy hell.
He got the camper up as far as he could and reversed it down in very good style and very good controlled fashion.
And then Glenn from My Coolman decided that he's going to take the My Coolman Prado up top.
No, in the Prado, it's always an underrated vehicle. It was a soccer mum's car, but probably the driver that'll muck it up more than the car.
He drove that up there like a boss.
The view up there was absolutely spectacular. 15-point turn and back down we went.
The Prado, not towing anything, no dead weight on the back, just straight to the top. Awesome drive, too easy.
Not to be outdone, Simon jumps in the GWM Cannon and it's his turn to take that up the top.
I've been in that movie before.
It just seemed to travel up there so easy.
It's definitely shot off into the distance and done everything we wanted it to do.
Simon turns it around, brings it back down, job done.
Beautiful view up there, but there is plenty more to see in the East MacDonnell Ranges, so let's get back on the tracks.
The hill climb done, it was time to turn around, go back down through the track we'd come up.
This 16-foot solid roof van for us is just an absolute game changer.
Ruben, I think the game changer for you are those red bars, the roll cage around the base of the campers. Bit of an indication on how you should be driving?
Yes. It means I can go a bit harder, Simon. You know, just put it into the banks and whatever else, and I know it's just going to bounce off. How cool is that?
Well, I thought you'd love it.
Every NDC comes with those.
I thought it might have been the Ruben pack.
Maybe that's an idea, we can add more bar work.
Once we'd done our thing out there, we headed back into town, stopped by the Todd River, got to meet the guys a little bit more.
We decided to have a stop for lunch. Me and my wife made an awesome wrap with salad, salt and pepper, but my pepper came out a lot more than I anticipated. I think I've been stitched up with the old shaker. I still ate it because I was starving.
We tucked into some wraps and some freshly made sandwiches that we've done down by the side of the dry creek, underneath the outcrop of that beautiful gorge.
Anya and I cooked up pork loin rolls, which was cooked up on the MDC Thetford 3-burner stove. 15 minutes, we were back on the road.
Driving along Ross Highway, the cliff faces on one side just kept on going and going. Like as far as I could see, these beautiful cliff faces were there, which is something I didn't expect to see.
And to start driving through this area, driving through the beautiful ghost gums.
So as we got to Corroboree Rock, we all got out and had a look around. It was a good opportunity to get some photos.
No climbing, no moving of rocks.
No walking, I'm pretty sure it says here, look.
Corroboree Rock did not disappoint. And you know the beautiful thing about Central Australia, it's got such Indigenous history, and it's very, very humbling to come and visit these places and take it all in.
It oozed out tradition, it oozed out culture. You could see, I suppose, why the Indigenous people want to protect this area so much.
There were some beautiful looking markings of the way nature had carved it.
And you look up into it and you can actually see this little monkey looking out of the rocks at you, sort of laughing.
It's a must see, guys, and you can get there just in a 2-wheel drive car. Just get in one and have a crack. We left Corroboree Rock because we were going to camp the night at Trephina Gorge.
We just pictured Alice Springs and it's all flat, dirt, dusty and red.
Look at this. Got to dodge overhanging trees.
And then you turn the corner and it's almost opposite.
The mountains seem to just get closer and closer and closer. And it's like you're driving through cliff faces either side of you.
And right before you is the massive outcrop that is Trephina Gorge.
Wow.
It's crazy, eh? This is unbelievable.
Wow.
Wow.
We've got the sun setting, you've got the rocks lit up on this side and dark on this side.
Just absolutely magical. Can't believe I'm allowed to even be a part of this.
It doesn't matter how many times you come here, it's different every single time.
What do you think? Yeah, that's a big one, yes.
No need to go overseas and look for these spectacular canyons because we've got it all here in our backyard.
This is going to be a spectacular overnighter, I reckon.
Trephina Gorge campsite, there's a few people around, but the ranger had told them that day that there was a big convoy coming. They're like, well, where are they? Then all of a sudden, just on dusk, we appear.
We've got 5 caravans in tow. We ended up getting scattered all around the place.
Think about your exit in the morning. Put your camper into a good place to make it easy to get out.
This one got involved. This one's supposed to get involved. And I'm in the driver's seat going, what's going on here?
Keep it straight.
Go forward.
Go forward.
Keep going. Come this way. Yeah, that way. Keep going that way. That's it. We actually succeeded in the end. We got it.
Because of me.
How many times did it take that?
Oh, there's too much to count.
You know, at the end of the day, that's all part of the adventure, and we all got them in and we had a fabulous night.
Now guys, we've got set up for dinner and the guys have requested my famous hamburgers. We've got the MDC kitchen. Now these set up in under a minute. It is just so simple and easy. How good is that looking? And our final stage of cooking is toasting our buns. We'll launch that out there. There you go. Wrap your lips around that.
We're all relaxed around the campfire, and then all of a sudden, where's Mike? Where's Mike gone? And then, where's Ruben's kids gone?
Where did you end up?
At the ghost gum too, at the biggest ghost gum tree in Australia.
Oh, that's massive.
Paul said to us this tree they believe to be about 250, 300 years old. So we went down with a couple of the kids, myself and Paul.
That is spectacular.
Look at the clouds coming off it though. Mike being Mike started to tell the kids a few ghost stories.
You ready? Did you ever hear about the dingo took the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was an Irish guy that was going around the forest here.
I don't know if I scared them or made them laugh, but they were definitely a bit nervous, especially when I told them about the children that were kidnapped in this area.
Jesus Christ, I think she's behind you.
Stop it! Last time we were at Talana Station, Rob gave us a bit of a ghost story himself. Mine was very scary. More scary than Rob, and that's surprising.
I hope you come get you tonight. I expected that scream from you, not from me.
As I've been out this way a couple of times and I've visited the Ghost Gum, I've had a little bit of an inspiration to come back and do something with some lighting. They stood out like sparks. It was pretty special.
3, 2,
Just your regular foot.
1.
Day 2, we wake up, it's a quick breakfast on the cookers, on the campers.
So we had a fair bit we wanted to cover today, so we got up, packed up pretty early and hit the road to John Hayes Waterhole.
Good morning, Paul. How awesome is this to have this right on your doorstep?
Yeah, it's quite pretty. We love getting out for weekends, and this side of the Max being the east doesn't get publicised as much as the west. The west you get the tour companies and the big buses and all that visiting, but this side's for the true tourer, not the tourist.
Vaughan, how did you sleep?
I slept great, quite warm in the Robson XTT camper. Diesel heater cranking, doona on, quite chilly outside, but inside it was absolutely brilliant.
I must say thank you, mate. I'm not doing it too hard. I had a warm shower this morning, like just luxury.
Yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it? All the hybrids have the hot water inside, so I'm just fresh as a daisy.
We're heading out to a waterhole now. It's not a really tough four-wheel drive track, but it's pretty rough, so we've got a little bit of four-wheel driving to do this morning.
Sounds exciting. Are we going to have a chance to have a dip?
There'll definitely be water, and I reckon we'll get the kids and yourself, if you want, in for a swim.
If anyone's brave enough, I do have a special MDC swimsuit.
I reckon that can only be worn by one person.
Absolutely, just one person.
So you nominate, mate?
You may want to have a look to see what it is first, mate, before committing.
Not the Mancini, is it?
That it is, my friend, that it is.
Oh no! They've always stitching me up with something. Anyway, the first part of the stitch up was actually the drive into the waterhole.
Mike, great to see a sign that says high clearance vehicles only.
It's the perfect sign, Simon. They should be everywhere in Australia.
And in the good spots where it's a bit of four-wheel driving to be done. So Ruben, how's your caravan going through these creek crossings?
I'm probably a bit slower than the rest of everyone. It's a bit higher, trying to make sure I miss all the trees and all that sort of stuff. But one thing I must say, you can't do any of this type of stuff without having a good set of mirrors. And these clear view mirrors, and especially being electric, I can push them in, like press the button and they come in when I want to dodge a bit of stuff and then put them back out so I can see what I'm doing with the caravan. That's a must. But the suspension on this van is just soaking everything up, and even though I'll put it on some pretty weird angles, I start to stress out because it's quite high, it just doesn't seem to phase it.
David, I reckon we try and get the kids in for a swim when we get to the waterhole?
Well, I think young Zienna in the back there, she's popping herself up, she's getting keen, so I'm pretty sure we'll get her in and rescue Ruben when that swimsuit of his gets wrapped around his neck, I think.
So Hannah got a learners just before this trip. So she'd been telling everybody about it the night before. We're halfway into this waterhole and Mike comes across the radio. Hey Hannah, do you want to have a drive of the track car? And Hannah's like, hell yeah!
Simon, I've got the youngest legal driver inside in the vehicle. And I'm a bit nervous.
Sorry.
You have to play that carefully, Mike. The road's getting rougher up here.
I don't often have a driver. Great experience for Hannah driving inside a four-wheel drive as big as mine. She handled it with no problem. Really, really good actually to see her drive and see just how smooth her acceleration was, how her braking was, and just her judgment in the cars behind. Imagine very intimidating for a young girl that's just starting to learn how to drive to be in a big convoy like ours.
The feedback I got from Mike was very, very good, despite what I may have heard over the radio.
As a proper co-driver, I'm about to give her some instructions.
Left over 40, hard into crest right, caution. Caution over left into straight, flat 60!
Now we're coming up to a little bit of a waterhole, Mike. I think we're going to see something very special in there.
Well, last night, Simon, we went and had a look at a ghost tree, and there was a few stories told around the tree. I heard that up here in this waterhole that sometimes there's a certain thing appears that not another man has seen.
All right, everybody dismount. Let's head up to the waterhole to have a look. Grab your cameras and far out. If only somebody had a mankini, that would be really awesome.
Introducing the man of the hour.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?